Cast.
They fight for their families. They fight for each other. They fight for this great university.
What's up, Buckeye Nation? You're tuned in to the Buckeye Cast.
Buckeye Cast.
When I needed you the most, you gave us your very best.
These fellas were born and bred in the Buckeye State.
Handle your business, man. Everything you got. 4 to 6 A to B, 9 strong.
Buckeye Cast.
Visit us at thebuckeyecast.com and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at the Buckeye Cast.
Buckeye Cast.
Now here's your host, Joe Warwick.
A great Buckeye. 1, 2, 3, go die!
We are back. We are back, baby, after a big win. Beat those horny toads.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep, that was a nice ass whooping of the TCU folk down in Jerry World. Definitely was not a home game for them as expected, but as you all know, subscribe, follow us, download the show, check out our YouTube channel, all the usual shit. This is Joe, your kind and neighborly host.
Yeah, right.
I got Shawn over here. Jeff's MIA today. So, Shawn, let's jump right into it. Oh, first, disclaimer, we need to put this out there right now before we even start the show. And, Shawn, I'm sure you're on board with this disclaimer. I didn't run it past legal, but I'm sure you're fine with it. We will not be discussing herb suspension, no Amazon Prime cock ring deliveries to the Woody. We're not discussing that. We're not discussing ESPN narratives. So if you want more details and opinion about Urban Meyer's return as far as how it looks to the public and to the rest of the country, you might want to take your headphones elsewhere because we're not discussing that shit. We're talking football as played on the field.
Bye, Felicia.
You okay with that?
I'm good.
All right. So just wanted to lay that out so people aren't expecting a bunch of salacious, silly shit. So let's
silly shit.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really care about anybody else's opinions, so except ours, obviously. That's all that matters.
Yeah, Buckeyes against the world on that shit. That's all I got to say about it.
That's right. So let's jump into this TCU game. Let's beat this one down and put a final nail in their coffin. Buckeyes kind of sluggish, but got things going with the 40-28 win. Took a few punches, but they responded. Came back with a huge explosion in the third quarter with 20 points. Let's jump right into the offense. First of all, Shawn, Haskins, another banner day for this guy. I'm not sure he knows how to fail. He was under constant pressure from all angles all day. They're bringing people off the edges, up the middle. He was getting folded in half. Most of those blitzers were hitting him low, which would have been penalties in the NFL, you know. So what do you think, Shawn? Any chinks in the Haskins armor? Are you all aboard the Dwayne train?
I'm on the Dwayne train. I mean, but there are chinks in the armor. I mean, his running ability, he's got to look a little better than that. Looks like Tom Brady out there. Come on, you're better runner than that. But no,
getting some yoga classes or something.
The kid's money. He's efficient. He hasn't really been rattled yet. His ball is. I mean, it comes out just amazing.
Yeah.
Ball, man.
And it's on the spot.
It is. I mean, what a talent. What a talent. He's doing amazing. That was one of the top 2 or 3 pass rushes that we're going to see all season. That may be the best overall team that we play all season. And I know you're going to touch on a little bit of that later. So this, to me, was a huge win. You're down there in Jerry's World, right down the street from their stadium. You go down there, huge win. Again, it wasn't fancy. It could have got ugly if Mac didn't have some of those drops that were, put, like you said, right on money. Mac made some incredible plays, had some incredible drops as well. A couple of those find their way, and it could have got ugly earlier.
I agree.
Never felt jeopardy in this game, and when we finally turned it on, I covered because I gave a guy 7 points.
Nice. Yeah, the rest of us didn't.
Sorry about that 13.
Yeah, well. So yeah, you think it's too early for Heisman hype, or you think the kid needs to see some more adversity first?
I mean, everyone else is getting hyped, so you might as well. I prefer the Nick Bosa for Heisman hype, but sure, throw Haskins in there. His numbers are got to be right up there with any other quarterback that's considered. I think you're going to find out a lot more. It wasn't a true away game at Jerry's World.
Yeah,
I think you're going to find out more at Penn State. I hear they used to be really good at home, but I'm not sure anymore.
Yeah, that will be the next true challenge, to be sure. Let's run through this offense position group by position group. I got to jump on the O-line real quick, specifically Michael Jordan with the low snaps. Jesus Christ, dude. It had to be easily 25 to 50% of the snaps were low. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And even I mean, you say we're low. Even his high ones were at the thigh. They
right.
They weren't in his chest.
Yeah, it really affected the timing, right? Especially those handoffs to J.K. or Weber, whoever's in the background. It really affected, obviously, the timing of the play.
When you got to go down and get it and come up, I don't know how long that is, but it's got to be point 1, point 2, which does affect everything.
Yeah, and props to the kid Haskins for fielding every one of those ground balls.
I know, that's why the kid seems unflappable back there.
Right.
Some guys get that low ball like that, and they're going to start freaking out and losing focus on what's going on in front of them and the play, and it's like, shit, I just hope I get this damn ball. He handled it effortlessly, it appeared.
Yeah, no fumbles, so I'd call that well handled. The O-line did give up 1 sack, so with all the pressure TCU was bringing and the speed of their defense, I'll take that 1 sack. I would like to see less pressure up the gut and Dwayne taking those low shots around his knees and shit. That's not cool. We got to get that shored up. I saw J.K. And Weber both take the wrong guy on blitzers, and maybe it was a read or something that they read wrong. But you got it. You can't have the quarterback getting his knees taken out. Agreed.
If he goes down, then we'd have to cross that bridge. But
yeah,
I agree. We don't have a Joe Burrow behind him.
Nope, he's down south. So yeah, receivers. You touched on Mac. Obviously, that was the highlight or the low light, I should say. Yeah, really both. I mean, he had the big 50-yard bomb to start the game, and then proceeded to just not even look the ball in. I don't know. He had Crisco on his hands. Did somebody toss him a stick of butter or something? I don't know. But
he was going through a bad stretch, man. All of his drops were right in a row, weren't they? Oh my God.
Yeah, like 4 or 5, and then you mix in a holding call there.
Yeah.
So the kid was I don't know if he was mentally fucked up or what, but at least they didn't pull him. I guess they stuck with him. So props to him to come back. He had some important catches, in the third and fourth quarter.
Absolutely. I can't say enough about him and all their heart. I probably the first time, at least since Myers gotten here, I love that whole room. Love that wide receiver room.
Yeah, they're all benefiting from Haskins. Really, it's somebody different every week that's having the big numbers.
Yeah, I was looking at that earlier. I think there's we got 5 guys with over 130 yards receiving after 3 games. 5 guys, and there's 15 or 16 guys that have caught in balls through 3 games.
Right. Yeah, we had a distribution this week of 7 different receivers. That's real good. And KJ, I gotta say, my guy KJ is money.
Yeah.
Great catch on the back shoulder fade in the end zone. Yep, that was nice. Got that DB twisted, and the dude's clutch. I mean, it seems like every time we need a first down or need some yards, he's making the play.
I'm with you. I kind of didn't like this guy. Maybe I started liking him maybe towards the end of last year, but never liked him early. I thought he was always a little bit red ass and a liability. Yeah. Like he's going to get us a bunch of personal fouls out there, jawing and pushing people in the face and shit.
Yeah.
But the guy is, well, like I said, I like that whole room. McLaren, Hill, Mack, Campbell, Dixon.
Yeah, I just hope that
who hasn't done much but keeps getting, complimented by coaching, and he's out there blocking and working hard. So, he's one of my boys too. His will come.
Yeah, I just hope that Mac doesn't turn into that guy, if he hasn't yet, that makes all the tough catches but can't make the routine. That's my concern.
Well, he probably doesn't know what to do. He's like, well, I'm used to getting blasted every time I catch the damn ball.
Right.
What's
yeah,
this?
he needs. Yeah, he needs a contested ball every time, huh? So yeah, a nice little screen pass to Paris. That was a huge play.
The kind of announcer jinx said, "I need to get to Paris, man." Was it play later? Boom.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And jumping to the running backs, Mikey Weber had a nice little 20-yard screen pass. You see that to the right in the first half? That was a true screen pass with O-linemen out in front of him. They used TCU's aggressiveness and speed against him. Haskins drew in all the defenders, and then just plopped it over their heads. That was a huge play. How about we see more of that?
I love it, and as much as I love that wide receiver room, I really like Dobbins and Weber. Those guys, You look at what happened that game. Dobbins got the yards on the ground this game. Weber found a little bit in the air, as you mentioned. They got the same amount of carries.
Yeah. J.K. was running hard with a little extra shake. You see him out there?
Oh, yeah, and was it – I can't even remember which one it was. Was it Weber when you thought he was down and spun and, kept his hand on the ground and stayed up and fought and got down?
Yeah, that was a key play. That was Weber. I love J.K.'s attitude he was running with, though, and it seemed like he had a little extra wiggle to him.
Yeah, he's out there back home, a little fired up.
Yeah, that hot air must have loosened his joints out or something. I don't know. But one side note on the running backs, Brian Snead did not make the trip. It was a good sign that he's out there practicing yesterday and today, but there's some sort of investigation going on. Herb obviously is not going to open up too much, especially right now, especially when it comes to investigations. So there is something being looked into with Brian Snead. But at least he's back on the practice field. Typically, when it's something serious like we've seen in the past, the kid's not practicing or with the team at all.
Right.
Like
Webb. Maybe he violated a team policy or something. I mean, that's...
Yeah, when you say investigation, though...
Who said investigation?
That is the word from somebody with the athletic department. I don't know who it came from exactly, but when you say that word, it tells me that it's a little bit deeper than just a failed piss test or something. Well,
and semantics, I guess, and the words mean everything. If you're saying there's an investigation, then I agree that sounds scary. But if it's somebody out of the athletic department or Herb doing coach speak, yeah, we're going to investigate that. There are two connotations, kind of, and the seriousness of it. I almost think if he's back on the field, it's the one, we're investigating that. Hey, did he not show up? We're looking at that. We're investigating it, and without all speculation at this point, that would suck, man.
Yeah,
I like that too. I'm hoping that him and Master Teague are the next Dobbins Weber.
Yeah, you hate to see him start off on a negative note like this in his freshman year, especially when he's gotten playing time, you know. But who
Right.
knows? It might be something minimal, you know. But we'll see what happens with him.
I got to think right now at Ohio State under Urban Meyer, we've got. I think Herb was always tough. I think it's going to be extra tough if you so much as sneeze, step out of line. There's going to be repercussions.
Yeah, he's definitely, the program is on under the microscope and on thin ice. So yeah, he's not going to stick his neck out for any stupidity.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, just wanted to mention that while we're running through the offense. One stat that bothered me was Buckeyes were 4 of 12 on third downs. That's not going to get it done. Yeah. And then the penalties were greatly improved. That was one of my concerns coming into this game, because the last couple of games we were up in like double digits in penalties, but they cut that in half. So I'm happy about that. All around, I don't know if you could ask for much more from the offense. You give me a couple of those Austin Mack drops, and we're up 10-0 in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, I'm with you. It was, like I said, I was never worried per se. Even when they had a little bit of a lead, I didn't think they'd be able to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you're going to see when Buckeye football plays most of these teams, these good teams, top 15 teams, maybe to the top, 8 to 15. I think they can hang with the Buckeyes. They've got some good talent, but you get into late in that second half, into the third, into the fourth. How do you don't have the depth just to keep going.
Exactly. Yeah. Speed only lasts for so long, and I really want to see this TCU Oklahoma game when that comes up on the schedule. That's going to be a ball game, wherever it is. But let's flip it over and get into the defense real quick on this game. Yeah, a lot of positives, a lot of negatives. It's kind of a roller coaster ride with this defense, from week to week. We'll start out with the stats. Allowed 300 yards passing, 200 yards rushing, the most yards given up in 4 years, well over 500. Start with the D-line. 3 sacks, 7 TFLs. That sounds like a good day, right?
That sounds like a wonderful day.
And then pile on 2 TDs scored by the defense. Bosa obviously with the strip sack, and Draymond with the pick on the shuffle pass. Not sure you're going to see that every week.
The pick six with the stiff arm on the quarterback,
right?
And the cutback towards the goal line.
Yeah,
big man's got moves.
I love it when guys run into their own players too. Like Baron Browning was in the way. He's like, move at the goal line, like. And so Bosa's going to obviously snap his 6th game with a sack streak, which is unfortunate. But anyway, D-line, there's really no complaints you could possibly have about the D-line. Everybody got in there. I believe Cooper had a sack. It's good to see him get on the board. Chase Young, that was the one missing link to this defensive line that I noticed.
No, I don't know what his stat sheet said. I don't think he had a terrible game, right? I mean, the second half they didn't do much. That's when he got a lot of his playing time. Because
no tackles. All I saw was him getting swallowed up by the left or the right tackle, whoever he was going against. Seemed like he just came at him, maybe with like a bull rush or something, and they just locked him up. I didn't see him doing much of anything. Maybe in the third quarter I might have seen him get his fingertips on the quarterback, but just in like a drive-by scenario. So
right.
He's definitely going to have to step it up. But yeah, D-line played well, obviously. We need to pile on these linebackers and break these guys up. Again, big plays. What was that? A 93-yarder, like school record, scored against us. Borland was in there most of the time at Mike. Baron Browning did get in there. Malik Harrison on that touchdown run, he like jumped to the left and just watched as the dude just blew right by him. Didn't do anything. It was hard to watch. If you check out Letterman Row, they have a lot of good videos on YouTube, and Zach Bourne specifically breaks down this play, and first of all, the formation was good for them because they had an overloaded offensive right side. And so, all from the defensive point of view, everybody's over to the left, and they just had a couple guys over to the right side. So it was a good formation for them, but Harrison has to diagnose that stuff, and the hole just opened up, and there was nobody there. Pryor took a horrible angle, but by then the guy had a head of steam going into the secondary.
And again, going back to the first week and this, we don't have guys that can catch these guys. 93 yards. It is. I think the angles. I think our other safety that's not Jordan Fuller.
Yeah, Pryor and
those guys aren't good.
And Wint are huge liabilities in the secondary.
Wint. Right now they are. They got tons of potential, but it's not the first time we've seen them take these bad angles. Like, this isn't high school anymore, boys. These kids are faster than that. You don't close like you did on them high school boys.
I've got an idea. I'm just going to throw this out there while we're talking linebacker. What do you think? We know Baron Browning was a 5-star stud, okay? He's got size, weight, he's good size. What do you think about a move of Baron Browning to D-end? He's got height.
I don't know about that. What is he, 6'3"?
Yeah, something like that.
240, 235, 240?
240, 245 maybe at the most.
If you could get into 255, something like that.
Right.
Maybe. I mean, there's guys that make a living doing that, right?
Yeah, think about Chase Young. He's only like 265.
I don't know, though. I think linebacker's his spot. Maybe he's a 3-4 linebacker in the NFL. Kind of a /DN linebacker type of hybrid. I could see that.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what we can do with him because obviously middle linebacker is not working for him right now. I hate to see another Curtis Grant scenario, where the guy goes all the way to his senior year, his 5th year before the light bulb finally goes off.
Right.
You
got Raekwon McMillan up your ass to say, well, it went off too late because I'm here to take half these snaps.
Well, that would be a luxury if we had that. Yeah, that would be okay. But what if we don't have, like if we didn't have a Borland that might be able to play 3-4 years as a starter? That's my other reasoning for looking at other positions for Baron Browning.
Well, there's a lot of talent in that room too coming up. I mean, with the Dallas Scants and the Tejada, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Taraja Mitchell.
Yeah, Taraja.
Kayvon Pope.
Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely talent.
And these guys are young. I mean, Werner's a redshirt freshman. Is that what he is?
Yeah, he was here last year.
And Borland's redshirt sophomore?
Yeah, I believe so.
So these guys got a lot of eligibility. I'm not giving up on Browning yet. I think if Borland comes back, Borland's football IQ and the way he runs that defense probably cements him at the middle. But maybe he starts, rotating with either Werner or Malik on the outside.
Mm-hmm. I've seen some speculation around the internet about Shawn is trying to run an NFL defense that's maybe too sophisticated for the linebackers. I don't know if this is accurate or not, and there's no way to get a true answer right now. But it seems like when the linebackers walk up to the line, they're getting washed out or cut off. Our run defense is 11th in the Big Ten right now.
Yeah, but to me, that's a tainted stat. I'll take our run D. You look at we're giving up some huge home runs. Those are obviously breakdowns up the middle. They've all been up the middle. Nothing's been outside. Those long runs, I believe, have all been up the middle. And where linebackers either don't know where they're supposed to be, what holes they're supposed to fill, what their responsibilities are, and then poor play. Especially week 1 when we didn't have Fuller, we had Witt and Pryor. back
Yeah.
there and letting Oregon State, run all over us. But at halftime, Oregon State was like minus 12 rushing yards. So I'm not that concerned about it. I just need the big plays to go away. Most downs they do fine, and then they give up that home run. But people aren't consistently, I don't feel, just running it down our throat. And that would concern me more.
I know we're not getting pounded on like 10, 12, 15 yards at a crack, but the big plays are adding up. You know, you can't give up these big plays against good teams like a Penn State or somebody.
Right.
You know, because those are game breakers.
Agreed. In the tight games they are. And to me, it's linebacker play and safety play. That's responsible for most of our woes. Even a lot of our woes in the passing game seem to come at the expense of the safeties.
Yeah, getting into the secondary while we're there, that Went TD he gave up late in the third when we had exploded out to that big lead. He took a terrible angle on the coverage, never located the ball. If you look and watch the video, he's looking the other way while the fucking ball is behind him in the receiver's hands. Horrible. I don't know how this kid got playing time, honestly. My opinion right now, Went and Pryor are out at safety. Wade is in, and obviously Fuller, he led the team in tackles with 8 against TCU. Those are your safeties, Wade and Fuller.
Well, can Wade make that switch? I mean, he's played a lot this last week. Love to see my boy Shawn Wade in there. But he's been mostly at corner, wasn't he?
Right, but Fuller said last night, actually, that Wade's been in their room quite a bit, in the safety room. And Shawn mentioned last week that he's been working a lot at safety because he's got so much ability and talent. You know, he's got great ball skills. He's long, got good speed.
Yeah, he's number 2 cornerback 2 years ago.
Right.
I think actually maybe he's just that much better at safety. Lately, I feel like, at least this last game, what have you done for me lately? Thought Wade looked better than Okudah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And everybody looked better than Arnett.
Yeah.
Right?
Usually. Sheffield's
Him
going
and his-
anywhere. Sheffield's the guy. He made some mistakes as well, but Sheffield's the guy. He's not going anywhere. Yeah.
Well, the snap breakdown, Sheffield led the way with 65 this week. Arnett had 52. Wade and Okudah had 39 and 38. So, looked like Wade and Okudah were splitting time. I thought Okudah had actually more playing time early on, like in the first 2 games.
Yeah, I don't think Wade hardly got any of the first. I mean, maybe late in the game he was getting time, but not like in a real game in real minutes was he getting that kind of time.
Right. So interesting how they're splitting their snaps.
Glad
I mentioned,
to see Wade fighting his way into that lineup, though. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
That Proctor isn't coming along a little better. I got high hopes for that kid, too.
And Tyreek Johnson, Cam Brown. Yeah, there's a lot of good young talent in that secondary, but I don't know. Guess most of them aren't ready. But yeah, I think Went just played his way out of contention for that safety spot. See what Pryor can do, I guess, or split him and Wade. I don't care, but we've got to make changes there. And that's another concern of mine. You know, I bang on Billy Davis, and well deserved, right? But let's look at these new secondary coaches. I realize it's their first year at Ohio State, but Grinch and Taver Johnson, are these guys possibly part of the problem?
Well, to me, you watch this team, and it looks like the old teams before we brought in Chris Ash that had a problem giving up big plays and weren't tackling, lost their fundamentals, and someone needed to teach them that. It's almost like they're reverting back to that. You know, not breaking down, bad angles, just the things you got to do.
Yeah, I will say in defense we are running a more aggressive defense, so I guess you could say that you're going to have those big plays when you're playing a press man with a single high safety. You might have some of these big pass plays once in a great while if there's a busted coverage, but that doesn't really explain to me the big run plays.
Right. But to me, it's. Of course, I don't know. Did anybody lay a hand on that kid for 90?
No. He went through that hole and was gone. Pryor might have touched his heel with a pinky. But by then it was 20 yards downfield at least. So, just my concerns. I'm always going to bang on the coaches because they get paid. The kids don't get paid. And the kids aren't out there. Well, yeah. Let's keep it clean. I don't think the kids are out there doing the wrong thing just to show their coach up. Why would you're not going to play if you don't take coaching well. So, to me, you got to look at the coaches and maybe there's a breakdown inside that room or something. I don't know. Want to touch on the Bosa injury. The latest we have heard, rest in rehab for possibly a month. So he's definitely out for the next 2 weeks. They're still doing testing. They're calling this an abdominal injury, like a sports hernia possibly. Not sure if there's any part of the groin involved with that or if it's a combo kind of thing. But, yeah, unfortunately we're going to be without him for Penn State, and that's a big blow. Really, it's going to be on a lot of younger guys to step up at the DN position there. About time for Chase Young to unleash the Predator.
There you go. Yeah, I think so. I think you're going to... The problem with losing Nick Bosa is it's probably the most talented position group on our entire team, but it's also probably the least deep position group.
Yeah.
So the good news is we have Chase Young and Cooper as our two starting DNs, who are both 5-star amazing freaking talents. Problem is we don't know much what we got behind that. And the way we like to rotate in, we need fresh legs running our hurry-up offense. We want their guys to run, their defensive guys to take in 80 plays. We want ours to take in about 50, rotate guys in and out. So it's definitely a concern. I wonder if the offensive speed slows down to take that concern into account. I doubt it will for Tulane. But, do you run the risk of these guys aren't used to playing 70 snaps a game?
Yeah, here's the rotation from the TCU game. At defensive end, we only ran a rotation of 4. Cooper had 52 snaps, Chase Young 51, Bosa 41. Obviously, he missed about half the game. And then Shawn Cornell had 10. So Cooper and Young had the bulk of the snaps there.
I was looking at that earlier and saw that stat. Bosa's and even if you go back a couple games, Bosa's been having 10, 15 more snaps. Bosa's definitely out there the most of all.
Right.
Typically, obviously not now. But it was, I don't know if it was the first game or the second game, but the guy out of Cleveland, Tyreek Smith or John
Smith.
He one of those first games he got like 17 snaps.
Yeah.
And then he got like 3, and then like you said, he got none this game. What are they?
Tyreek Smith got 6. Well, that's the weird thing is I'm showing 6 snaps at defensive tackle for Tyreek Smith.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know if maybe they were running him out of
package. I'll bet.
Yeah. That's the only possible thing I can think of. But Draymond led the way with D tackles at 67. Landers with 36. Him and Davon Hamilton switched out. He had 25 and Haskell Garrett had 10. So, interesting how they're just rotating the 4 DNs, and now who's going to fill that 4th role? Is it Tyreek Smith probably?
That'd kind of be my guess.
Yeah.
Right now, seeing how he's taking some snaps this year at the position, I don't know if there's really many others to have.
Right.
A couple guys that maybe were walk-ons, in one of those early blowouts.
Well, good win, good breakdown, and we'll see what the future holds for both.
Let me just add one thing on the win in the TCU. I don't know, maybe you guys explained this last week when I was gone. Apologize, Buckeye Nation. But so what happened with my boy, Run DMC? Is he off the team? What?
I don't know. He didn't get any play this week.
None. He doesn't earn anything. He doesn't do anything.
No.
So I guess he's done. That sucks.
I don't know, dude. I think maybe those muffed punts, we had one or two in the first two games, that might have played him out, and they, at least for this TCU game, they didn't want to take the chance. You know, they had Dixon and CJ back there at kickoff return, and then just CJ on punt.
If I'm him and that's where it's at, you got to transfer out. Run DMC can play college football. He just might not be able to play it at Ohio State.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but I think they wanted to play it safe, and C.J. Saunders is definitely safe, but that's about it.
Yeah, I know.
Me and Jeff got into it last week about him. I think I called him white toast because he's boring. And Jeff compared him to Brian Brennan. Riveting stuff, I know. But I'm curious to see what happens with old Run DMC. Definitely get some playing time this week.
We'll see.
Yeah. So let's get into this Tulane game. The Green Wave rolls into Columbus, 3:30 on the BTN in the Shoesy. The Houdat rolling up north in their Mardi Gras floats with their beads and beignets and boobs.
They got some over beads?
Oh, I don't know. They should.
These bleeds?
I'll take some of those beignets. Rolling in at 1-2. Green Wave have had a rough go of it thus far. They haven't beaten a ranked opponent since 1984.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's when they knocked off that juggernaut Vanderbilt. You remember them back in '84, Shawn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were running some crazy stuff. But then they
think
beat...
that's when Van Halen's Jump came out.
What?
Van Halen, 1984, Jump.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense now. Wake Forest beat them in OT. And then they lost a heartbreaker last week to UAB. 3 turnovers and 6 sacks. They had a penalty that nullified the go-ahead touchdown late in the fourth. So just a kick in the teeth. These bastards can't catch a break. The offense is pretty inconsistent from what I can tell. Quarterback, he threw for 280 and a couple touchdowns against Wake. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. It almost rhymes. Wide receiver looks to be their big playmaker, Taron Encalade. I don't know. Maybe that's French. Does that sound French?
Well, down there in the bayou, you might be French.
Yeah.
That Creole stuff.
Don't fuck with them Creole bitches. And then their running back, Corey Dolphine, Andy Dufresne, 2 long TDs against Nicholls State a couple weeks ago. Let's keep an eye on him. How about that, linebackers?
Yeah, is he their fast guy that can break off a 70-yard run on us?
He did, exactly, a 69-yarder against Nicholls State. So those are your 3 guys to watch. Quarterback's name was Jonathan Banks, by the way, if you care. Defense, not a lot going on there. They gave up 270 yards rushing to UAB. Jesus. So look for a lot of the run game this week. And they're averaging on defense, giving up 465 yards per game. So, yeah, could be a big day for the Buckeye offense, depending on the weather, of course. Maybe. May not matter.
Do we got a forecast?
I've seen like sunny and 71, something like that. Low 70s. Sounds like a
bloodbath.
Yeah. All the makings. So this week we got a little bit of switcheroo stuff on the sidelines. Ryan Day is going to stay on the field for his play calling duties, and of course Kevin Wilson will still be in the box, and they'll go back and forth with their play calling. And then Herb is back, but he's calling himself more of a game manager and not really getting involved in the play-to-play kind of offensive stuff. So
I buy that bullshit, man. Herb.
yeah, that's going to last for about 4 plays. When it it gets to be like 3rd and long, and he's like, all right, 4 down territory.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, we'll believe that when we believe it. And I've also heard speculation about this, and this makes a lot of sense to me, moving Draymond to D end, because we have such a plethora of D tackles. Make him the 4th, keep that rotation going while Bosa's out. Then you got a shitload of dudes that can jam up the middle. What do you think of that?
Maybe. I don't know if Draymond's got a bull rush, but I don't know if he's got all the moves that a DN has. Mm-hmm. But maybe he doesn't need them all. And I'm certain he doesn't need them all against Tulane.
Yeah. He does play in the Rushman package.
I understand, but still on the interior of that package. And you pretty much know, you're getting the bull rush swim technique maybe, but he's not going to take you upfield and cut back and do like some Bosa type shit.
Yeah, he definitely has his purpose there, and he clogs up the middle and gets, some push into the quarterback's face so he can't step up in the pocket. I get that.
Well, anywho, I mean, that kid could play anywhere along that front.
Yeah, we'll see how that shakes out. Maybe they'll give him a tryout here against Tulane to see how he looks at the edge. Let's jump into this microscope. Flip on your microscope, Shawn. Tell me who you got on offense.
On offense, I got my boy Austin Mack.
All right.
After his up and down game last week, I think Haskins is going to go to him a lot early. Probably not much late because I think this game's going to get way out of hand. But early, I think you're going to see Mack be the dominant receiver in this game.
Looking for a bounce back night?
I am. I'm looking for 6 to 8 catches, up around 100 and a touchdown.
Okay. I think I'm going to go with Benjamin Victor. I want to see something out of this kid this year. It's been a while. He hasn't really done much. He's had a handful of catches here and there. He almost had a great catch in that 3rd quarter from Haskins. Put one out there, a little too short. Like Haskins was throwing like the back shoulder fade and would have called for more of a 9 route, like a streak, because he had a step on the DB.
Right.
But yeah. So I'm going to look for Victor to finally get on the board. And who do you got on defense?
On defense, I've got my boy Coop. Now that Bosa's down, Coop to me was always kind of the 3rd man out in this rotation. It was all the hype around Young, Bosa. Coop came in. I was super high on him. I like that kid. I just remember seeing his video at, I think it was the Nike opening, and those guys couldn't hardly get a hand on him, let alone block him.
Yeah.
So really looking for him to establish himself. The kids he did that to at the opening are better than the tackles that Tulane has.
Sure.
And I'd like to see that kid go off and establish himself in the same conversation that everyone's putting Bosa and Young, because I think he's that good of a talent. A little bit undersized, but his quickness off the ball, he should dominate.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Shawn Wade. Last week, I almost went with Chase Young again. He was my guy last week, and didn't really make the highlight tape. So I'm going to go with Shawn Wade wherever he plays. Well, excuse me, and hopefully safety, and see what kind of impact he has on the defense. Very curious.
Yeah, I'd like to see him keep climbing that ladder and grab a hold of a spot and keep it for 2 years before
Yeah.
he gets drafted in the first round.
Right. Yeah, I think we're going to have a little bit of a drought with that first round NFL draft stuff
Uh,
this year.
don't I don't know. Watch Sheffield turn
Okay.
on, and we'll see.
All right. So our odds here, we have Buckeyes favored by 37. That's a big number. Over under 67.5. So what do you think? How's this going to go Saturday?
Well, I'm just looking at I've got my sheet from when we made all the score predictions from
Oh, you got that?
and back then I predicted coming off TCU emotional victory. What I predicted TCU 31-17. Not that far off really. Had a
Two-score
touchdown
victory.
close.
Yeah.
But I had Tulane 45-13.
All right.
I'm gonna up that. I'm gonna
Oh.
go. I'm gonna go. Flip my numbers. I'm gonna go 54-13.
Oh. Okay. Pushing all your chips into the middle, huh?
Well, this is before I knew who Dwayne Haskins was. So,
Right.
like I said, these numbers on the offensive side might be a little light on a couple of these games.
Okay. You think the team's coming back with a little added passion with Herb returning to the sideline?
I hope it's not a tense. That's actually more of a worry to me than a. We already got everything clicking perfectly. So if anything, it's not going to make them do better. They're already doing pretty damn well.
Right.
Might make everybody a little anxious and nervous, and maybe they screw up more. Oh shit, the boss is looking, and maybe the coaches are a little bit tighter, and maybe the players are too. So on this first game, there might even be a little bit of that, but that's fine. We can stomach that this game.
Yeah.
We got to get over it though before we go to Happy Valley.
Right. I'm going to go 59-10. So definitely a cover and the over. It's going to be close, though. I don't know if I might lay off that over, but I'm feeling good about the score. Going to be an easy day. Tate will get in the third quarter, and we'll get to see some more of him running around and going crazy. Defense, hopefully, doesn't give up the big play.
Hey.
Yeah. So take those to the bank, folks. Call your bookie and tell him you got the locks.
Keys to the castle.
Yeah. I have the bagel and locks. So let's get into this quick Big Ten talk, specifically the East. We can talk about Wisconsin as well, but what in the fuck happened to the Big Ten this weekend?
Well, I was all hyped up at the beginning of this year. Big Ten is going to be one of the greatest years in Big Ten football.
Yeah, we're going to tell the SEC to suck it.
You got all these quality teams. You've got, even the up-and-comers, the middle tiers will punch you in the mouth. The Purdue's, the Indianas, these guys, we still had our Rutgers and Illinois, sure. But we were solid-ass division. And as it turns out, what it's looking like, it's a dump, except for Ohio State, like it was for year after year after year. So while I bought into a little bit of that Big Ten hype, completely fucking over it. Fuck the Big Ten. They've never done anything for Ohio State, except maybe keep us out of a big game. So I'm not interested in them at all. Ohio State will handle their own business like they always do, and that's just that. The rest of those teams can suck ass. Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, Wisconsin, you name it. They all look very average. That being said, I think outside of Ohio State, Alabama, Maybe Georgia, LSU's kind of looking impressive. Clemson even looks. I think we're playing at a completely different level than there's 4 or 5 teams playing at a different level of football, and Ohio State's certainly the only one in the Big Ten that's playing at that level.
Mm-hmm.
I think we get into Penn State and some of these teams, if they don't clean up their act, they might get run off their home fields. Looking at you, Michigan State and Penn State.
Yeah, Michigan State especially, they have some work to do to regain their standing in our conference and our division for that matter. I agree 100%.
Don't think you couldn't lose to Indiana this week. I know they're coming off a bye; they're probably going to be well rested and ready. But Indiana's a Jekyll and Hyde team that sometimes shows up, and they usually play the shit out of the Buckeyes.
Yeah. No doubt. You also got in the West, you got Wisconsin at Iowa. That's a huge game, night game in Kinnick. You know what happens there.
Well, and who did Wisconsin just lose to? BYU?
Yeah. They got Cowart playbooked. They emptied the fucking playbook on whiskey.
We almost got Calvert playbook on that kickoff return.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to touch on that. That sneaky cocksucker. There's a reason why nobody was out there is because he was way ahead of the fucking ball.
Right.
You snake.
I like that they were arguing. It was like, dude, he threw it like 7 yards for him.
This wasn't even close, man. Was he like under the turf?
He threw it from like the 7. The guy called it at the 15.
Right. Yeah, there's a reason why there were no Buckeyes over on that side. Hilliard did lay a lick on that dude that threw the ball.
Oh yeah.
That's the reason why that dude had to get rid of it. He got smacked.
He hung in there like Troy Aikman stepped in the pass and taking one under the chin. I was kind of impressed with that kid for hanging in there so long. I'd have got rid of the ball just a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to do that too often. But yeah, Big Ten East shit. Michigan, like you mentioned, no game is a gimme with them. You don't know what they're going to get. Saw DPJ had, a few touchdowns against SMU?
He had 3.
Yeah.
They've got Nebraska this weekend. I would have thought that'd be a decent game.
Yeah, no longer.
But Nebraska's a hot mess.
Right.
What Nebraska has going for it is they absolutely have to get a win or they're in big trouble. I mean, hard enough to pull kids to Lincoln.
Right.
Have a 2-8 season and try pulling kids to Lincoln. They're 2-9.
Yeah, I know that every new coach, first year coach says, "Oh, give me a year to get this program into shape and all that." But I think it's going to take longer than that, Scott Frost.
Agreed.
One more team I'd like to pile on, not in the Big Ten necessarily, but in the Midwest, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Perhaps you've heard of them.
I believe I have.
These cocksuckers are still ranked 8th. Granted, they're 3-0, but these guys got healthy. I'll give them the Michigan game, okay? You guys had a great game plan. You came out, smacked them in the mouth, and your receivers made some great catches in spite of your quarterback. But these guys are putting up 24, 24, and 22 against Michigan, Ball State, and Vandy. They won by 5 over Vandy. They won by 8 over Ball State the week before. These guys are overrated, don't deserve to be number 8 in the country. I don't care what poll it is. All the Vegas polls have them down around like 19.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like their power polls.
Yeah.
So every week I'm taking the opponent and the points with Notre Dame, and I'm doing pretty well.
Well, that's almost always the same with Michigan. Take the opponent and the points because those are the 2 most overrated teams in college football. The money flows to them, and the odds get stupid. And
that's a good point.
They have a motion run up those odds, and they know that they can get stupid odds.
Yeah, like this week, Notre Dame has Wake, and a line 7.5. I'm taking Wake with that.
Oh, I don't know, 7.5. That's it. If we played Wake, What do you think that line would be? I figured it'd be like 24.
At least I would say pushing 28. 4 touchdowns easily. Look at the Irish, man. They cannot score points. 24, 24, and 22.
That
3
one,
weeks.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
No. He's lucky his receivers are making great plays for him, like I said. Otherwise, they would have lost that Michigan game.
Yeah, and some of those, I'm with you. Some of those throws were not good.
Yeah. So what do you think about the Big Ten East? Do you think they got a long ways to go? I mean, the Big Ten does still have 5 teams in the top 25. They're just at the bottom half of the top 25. Mostly.
Yeah, and that's probably, to be fair, that's probably where most of them belong. But we started out and we had 5 in the top 15, which leads you to believe, wow, loaded.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think it deserves that at this point. I think Ohio State's where they should be. I think Penn State's overrated. I don't think they're that good at all either. We didn't really talk about them.
Yeah, beating up on Kent State didn't do too much.
They're all a little bit vulnerable. Maybe one could squeak through the rest of the schedule and have a really good record, but I think they're all going to lose to us, one, and then I think they trade wins and losses between each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could say right now we only have one ranked team on our schedule potentially the rest of the year, but Michigan's going to bounce back. They'll probably have 2 losses by the time we face them at least.
Be around 12th or something like that.
Yeah, Sparty. I don't know what to think about Sparty. You got to assume they're going to get better as the season wears on, but I don't know. Maybe.
Well, look at it, and they were 3-9 2 years ago, and last year, would they win 10 games again?
I thought it was like.
But 9. They close. Trust the ball, grind it out, the ball bounced your way. They're in every game.
Yeah.
And they won all those close ones. When they went 3-9, they were in most of the games. Heck, when they went 3-9, they took us down to the wire. Damn near beat us.
Right.
They were in most games and lost. So it's pretty much the same team that we blew out last year, which I would have thought would have made them better. They all came back. I think the workie's solid, but I think their O-line is garbage. I think we're going to find out this weekend against Indiana. If they lose this game, they're going to be 500.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll see how the next few weeks play out. I know that nothing is solved in September. Probably check back with me around Halloween, and we'll have a good idea of who's moving forward and who's moving backward.
Yeah, but you're going to look at Penn State taking a loss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Michigan probably taking at least 1, maybe 2 more losses.
Maybe not, though. Michigan, of all those teams, might be the best one. And none of them have looked impressive, but Wisconsin, Michigan State, Penn State, Michigan may be the best of those guys. So got their loss to Notre Dame, but I would have thought they would lose 2 or 3 between they have Wisconsin, Michigan State, Penn State, us. I would have figured they'd lose at least 2 of those games. Now they might not. They might come into there's potential for them to come into Columbus with 1 loss, being a 5th ranked team, something like that, 6th ranked team.
Oh boy, they got a lot of work to do then.
Against who though? Against mediocre teams until they play us.
Yeah, we'll see what Wisconsin turns out to be, and Penn State. So much is up in the air right now; it's hard to say. The Big Ten still could redeem itself, in the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Well, can you really though? You've got basically 1 more week of non-conference, and then that's it. Then you're just going to beat up on each other.
Yeah.
And look, I don't mind Michigan losing to Notre Dame and losing to good programs, but the App State's taking you the distance, and Utah State giving Michigan State everything they wanted.
Right.
It's not a good look so far.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I'm looking at my target to know really what this conference is about, and specifically the East, around Halloween. I think things will definitely be more clear. Shake the magic 8 ball.
I think it's going to be Ohio State, Michigan at that point in the season.
Okay. I'm curious to see Penn State lose. Hopefully just to us.
I mean, that's the East. Who the hell's going to win the West? Is there any good teams in the West?
Wisconsin, Iowa.
If Wisconsin might be. Iowa, I don't know. Is Iowa good?
They got a good defense, of course, but they're not ranked. I mean, Wisconsin's 18, hanging on to the top 20, with the skin of their nails. But, yeah,
Nebraska sucks. Western lost.
Right.
Illinois sucks.
Right.
The Fighting Flyers. It's really anybody's conference over there. I mean, Wisconsin should have the leg up.
Yeah, they'll get their stuff back together probably.
Well, the thing, and I didn't watch really a lot of that game, but what I'd heard announcers saying is that game, basically BYU came out and brought it to them. Like, all right, let's go, line up.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff say, big on big, chest to chest, and BYU took it to Wisconsin. That shouldn't happen.
No, that shouldn't at all. So we'll see. I'm gonna maybe take it easy on the Big Ten for a couple weeks unless something stupid happens. If Sparty goes down to Indiana, then they're fair game. But
like, I don't care about them anymore. They can all lose. They can all be garbage. It doesn't affect Ohio State anymore.
You got to remember one thing though. There's no way that a 2-loss Big Ten champion is going into the playoff probably. No matter who it is.
No, not a chance.
So, our conference is kind of screwing us and making us look.
And I feel like they've done that for the past 20 years.
Sure.
So tough on them. We won't lose two. That's what we have to do. We can't lose two to these chumps.
Yeah, that's the key.
You screw up once, please don't, but you can, and you're not out of it. That would be the real kick in the ass, is if you screw up once to whomever, and then you go through and win the Big Ten. Now you're a 1-loss Big Ten champion, and they don't let you in.
Yeah, I can't see that happening. That would be a 1-loss. Yeah, I don't care who it is, even if it's Iowa with 1 loss, getting closed out as true champion. That's I think they would burn down that college football playoff committee. We'll see what happens. That's our show, folks. Thank you for joining us tonight. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, download, all that good shit. We are killing it on the stats. We are downloading huge numbers lately. Everybody's back in the swing of football season. Everybody's loving the show. Shawn, are you loving the show?
I love it.
I'm glad.
I can't get enough of it.
And don't forget to keep an eye out for Extra Points. And check us out on all the social media platforms, and check out our YouTube channel. All right, great show, Shawn. Go Bucks.